Welcome to another episode of The Insider's Guide to Custom Homes. I'm your host, Rick Bell, and today we're diving into the world of design excellence with a firm that's been defining luxury interiors for nearly 4 decades. Joining me is Jason Lynn, partner and vice president of the Decorators Unlimited, one of the most respected and recognized names in high-end interior design, not only here in South Florida, but around the world. Since its founding in 1985, the Decorators Unlimited has become synonymous with timeless style, precision detailing, and white glove project execution. Their 55,000 square foot facility houses everything from an in-house architecture and CAD department to a 9,000 square foot showroom, warehouse, and installation team, all under one roof. Jason himself brings a remarkable background from his time as a decorated U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer to decades of experience in design and project management, giving him a unique perspective on leadership, teamwork, and excellence. Today, we'll explore how the Decorators Unlimited has built its legacy, the firm's integrated approach to design and logistics, and how Jason and his team continue to deliver a seamless luxury experience for clients across the globe. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the Insider's Guide to Custom Homes. I appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having me. I can't say your pitch was better than anything I've ever heard. I think I'm going to borrow that when I leave for my clients. That was perfect.
And anything you want is yours.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and all the kind words you just said.
You're welcome. So let's just dive right in.
All right.
So you've had a fascinating journey. Before joining the Decorators Unlimited, how did the experiences in the Coast Guard and your other experiences shape your approach to leadership and to design?
Well, my leadership was definitely formed in the United States Coast Guard. Any person that joins any type of branch of the military and ends up as being a rescue swimmer is pretty much hardened into a life of structure, dedication, setting goals, exceeding them, and the biggest thing being as a team player. You can't get in and out of the military without being that as a team player. So when I got out of the Coast Guard, I needed a job. And I got lucky that my high school sweetheart's dad actually gave me a job in the interior design world, which at least I thought it was. I actually got stuck in the warehouse delivering furniture, which is probably the lowest job.
Nothing wrong with that. Learning from the ground up.
I learned from the basement. They actually put me in the basement.
I swept homes as a 12-year-old.
You get it.
I get it.
So my warehouse guys today say something like, I know I've been there. But, I think that was the starting of something good. My mom was in the art world. My dad was in the fashion world. So I had something stuck in the back of my head, but I had the focus and structure to do whatever I was going to do. I always wanted to try to be the best. I always wanted to surround myself with good mentors, good people. And I started changing from business school to interior design and talked to I thought was my future father-in-law about, coming and designing. And he's like, yeah, you can work on the weekends for commission only. And back then it was still illegal. But I started working on the weekends, started selling, started doing great, started watching the older salespeople kind of following their, behind them and learning the paths. And everything was going great. It was awesome. I was very thankful. And then I broke up with his daughter and he fired me.
Start over.
So literally I started back at ground zero. But I learned a lot being there, is learning that, no matter where you start in life, it's really not, that's actually where you finish. And that was the foundation of, I said, wow, I really enjoy being on a showroom floor. I really like designing kitchens and baths. I really like looking at windows and doors. And my friends are like, you just got out of the military. You sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to press forward. And I had friends in architecture, and I got out of the military. They were way in front of me. So I just started dabbling in that and got really lucky and got into a really substantial firm in Chicago and just, boom, hit the ground running.
So how many years did you work in Chicago?
I spent over 9 years there with some really substantial firms, St. Joseph Designs, Cutting Edge. I got highly promoted at a young age. I was a vice president by the age of 29 years old.
Well, I think, again, military experience kind of prepares you to be a leader.
Well, that's one of the things I think is the foundation of even the way I work today with my team is I am a leader, but I expect them to be leaders also. Every person in our company has a role. Every person has a duty. Everyone has a responsibility to either share or be a leader or help being that other leader's leader. And I think that's what's important about what Bob's instilled in me. And I still to this day thank him for it. Bob's the president. I'm the
Bob
VP.
Martin. Right?
Yeah, Bob Martin. He's the icon. As you know, you guys are designing and working together. I always say he's the king, I'm the prince. And I'm okay with that role because you learn a lot from the kings, as I did today on a job site. So I'm very thankful. But his leadership and my leadership, I hope that spreads throughout our company, through our mentors inside of our firm, to our team leaders in CAD, to our managers in operations in our warehouse. And It's the fortitude of our company. You can't be around 40, 43 years like you two unless you have a good foundational structure, leadership, and goals. And I think that's just the foundation of our firm.
Right. That's super important. We think the same way here at Landmark. You know, my son now works for me.
Yeah,
my
congratulations.
partner's son, they run a big part of the company now, and they do a fantastic job. And one's 13 years in, one's almost 9 years in. So they're getting it. And they're not there yet.
It takes a while.
But I'm many years in, over 40 years in, and still learning.
We all learn. I made a mistake today, and I had to call Bob on something. Hey, I got a situation. He goes, you know what to do. And he like reaffirms me my decision's right. But you still, at any age in this industry, every job's different, every client's different. But if you follow the fundamental tools of over communicating, do a great job, exceed the client's expectation, be a great leader. When there is a problem, bring your clients or your builder with a solution. Usually you already know the answer, but it's always good to have a springboard, like to go to Bob and say, hey, what do you think? And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, he seems to be, obviously he's very knowledgeable, but he'd be a great partner. I can only
He's
imagine.
an amazing partner. He's gifted. He's talented. He's a former lawyer. He thinks differently. I'm former military. We're both ADD or ADHD type of people. So we're both alphas, which is good in some instances. In other instances, it's a little much for people.
It's okay. You know what? Sometimes bumping heads, you come up with some good solutions.
Listen, at the end of the day, when we bump heads, it's for the right reasons.
Absolutely. So, Decorators Unlimited has been under the same operation ownership for over 40 years. So What's been the secret to the longevity of the firm and the success?
That's a great question. People have asked me that before. I think we have two strong individuals that want to be the best interior design firm, I think not only locally, but globally. And I think what's also great about our firm is we have 20 talented senior designers that are always looking to challenge themselves, look at new materials, exceed clients' expectations, deliver a better product, going and traveling the world for furniture, under promising and over delivering. It's kind of the fundamental of what a firm like ours has to do to stay relevant, to go 10 years, then 20 years. And Bob's just crossed 40 years. I mean, you have to keep reinventing yourself. You have to keep pushing yourself. You have to keep on driving. You have to keep on wanting to do what's best for your clients. At the end of the day, clients pay our bills. We work for them.
Of course.
They're the person that I have to impress and make sure they're happy. And when a client calls me or walks into our house and start crying, I go, all right, we did our job. So I think to us, it's always going to be, how do we get better? How do we get stronger? How do we get faster? You just brought up AI before our conversation. I'm bolting AI right on our business model. Bob's like, what are you talking about? I go, Bob, it's time. Let's get in front of the curve. Let's be the first interior designer that has a fundamental plan internally of our firm that helps job status reports, a flow chart. So when you're in your car and a client calls you, you can hit a button, you can know what's going on in your project in real time. I said, to me, I'm the pusher of that. And Bob's old school where it says, okay, but let's institute this. So I think the 40 years has been great, but I think the next 10 or 20 could even get better with technology, service, materials. The element of design is this beautiful house behind me is getting pushed and pushed and pushed. So I think for us, the future can be whatever we want it to be. And I think that's been the foundation of what Bob's instilled. And he's got designers been with us 40 years.
Right.
Jeannie Minetti, Jennifer Clarks. We've got people that have been there forever.
So for the 18 years you've been with the firm, how has it evolved in terms of scale and capabilities and your approach to design? And how has your input kind of shaped the company?
Well, when I came to Bob, interesting story. He wanted to interview me, and I kind of said, "Yeah, we'll get to it." And I flew down. He goes, "I thought it'd be like a 1 or 2 hour interview." He spent 6 hours with me. Bob doesn't spend 6 hours with anyone. I mean, it's really rare that he does that much. So I spent 6 hours with him. And when I did, I wrote him a business plan. He goes, "What's this for?" I said, "This is how we're going to grow Decorators Unlimited business. Here's how we're going to make it grow. Here's how we're going to take it to the next level." And I think what I brought to a thought process, I was like, okay, Bob, you've been doing this business for this way. Let's try targeting business this way. His way has worked. It's highly successful. Referrals and bringing new people in. Mine was another way of targeting businesses globally, nationally. Our business overseas.
So you were really heavy on the marketing side.
I was very heavy on the business development side. I've always been good at listening and learning who's your target market. Is it architects? Is it realtors? Is it builders? Those are our 3 target markets. And I knew I had enough design experience and enough background in it. But I also knew that having and running a firm and going out to get food on the table, if you don't get the clients through the door to agree to work with you, you don't ever get to design. So I knew how important it was to do that. And he goes, "All right, go do it." He gave me a car. I went out and did it for 2 years. It was 2008. The market's crashing. We're in a hole.
Oh, wow.
It's
a tough time to start
horrible.
the business.
The worst. To this day, now I built a database over 6,000 potential people that I know and talk to in the industry. Not all of them, obviously.
So you're a massive network.
Massive network. And I've learned that we're not just a firm. We like to share business. We like to share with architects and builders and realtors and talented people like yourselves, because the more you share, the more you get back. And that's that's one of the things I'm proud of as being a faithful Christian is I love to give. The more I give, I get more I get in return. My wife's like, yeah, stop gambling on your stupid little side bets with your friends and give it to the church. I go, you're so right, honey. She's always
They're
right.
always right.
Yeah, good answer. But I've learned that you have to be a businessman first and a designer second, or a businesswoman first and a designer second. And I think that's the way Bob and I've always looked at it. We've got really talented people with us.
Yeah,
and I think we've got some people that have been there forever.
20 senior designers
20
that have been there for
average of probably 13 to 14 years now. We don't lose people. Unfortunately, they retire or go on to taking care of a family or kids. We've just added 2 more. We've got a great in-house architect named George Garcia, who's a monster. Architects speak a different language. I'm sure you know that more than I do.
Yeah,
and if you don't speak architect, you're kind of in la-la land. So bringing him in-house has been a great benefit. 7 CAD operators, as we mentioned, beautiful boutique, which Bob's wife, Robin Martin, runs. She's an amazing woman. She's always my right hand now, because when I need to get to Bob, I can always use her and say, hey, I need something. Can you bring it up at home over the dinner table? Please. The best part of our company probably is we have our own operations manager, Tina Murray. She's our vice president. You got to have logistics. With a firm like us, you got a project down here. We got to have a team of people. We got to own our fleet of trucks. We've got warehouse guys on the street. We've got containers leaving the country. Now we own our own custom closet business, schematic design. So we bolted on to other revenue sources. Not that we needed to, that we wanted to.
It kind of made sense, I'm sure, for your where you kind of establish yourself in the industry and to be able to get the product that you need.
Well, I think just like you, the more you control, the more success you have. The more uncontrol you have, the more problems you have. And I went to Bob and was like, Bob, we're getting our butts kicked in closets, even though we're just referring them out. And I was like, I have an opportunity. I have a business plan. I wrote it. Here it is. What do you think? He's like, go for it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And 4 years later, here we are. But it's another way that we can control the process, because the last thing to go into your beautiful homes is closets and furniture. And when the clients walk in and the furniture looks great and the closets look like they're falling off the walls and there's no finished back panels and it's not big enough for her purses or her shoes or his belts or golf.
We have this conversation all the time. We have to do budgeting. Where do the dollars go?
Never in the closets.
We had this conversation the other day. It's on a home we're working on for a prospective client. And we said, well, the overall millwork package is $1.1 million. We'll put maybe $1 million in the kitchen and the bathrooms and the bars, and maybe $100,000 for the closets. And then Brandon, my son, said, well, on some of these jobs, they spend $200,000, $300,000. I said, well, they can spend $1 million on closets.
You're so right.
There is no limit when it comes to closets, especially today.
Depends who the wife is. The husband that likes fine closets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's been interesting how we've evolved. It's been a nice journey. I think we're just getting started.
4 years and you're just getting started.
Well, people always ask me, what's Bob's story? Is he still working? I go, still working. There's weeks he outworks me. I mean, the guy doesn't have an off button. He loves what he does. He's passionate about what he does. He enjoys the process. We always have issues that we have to deal with. That's part of business. And he just keeps going. He's like the Energizer Bunny. I go, he's never going to stop, guys. Like, this is his life. This is his baby. I'm just here along the ride in the bus with him.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you have a lot going on. You have a 55,000 square foot headquarters with design, logistics, and installation all in one place.
Yeah.
So how does that level of integration impact project delivery and client satisfaction?
It all comes down to expectations. One of the things that I try to do is paint a very clear picture to new clients. Like, here's how the process is going to go from day 1 through day 2, through all the way through for the first or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, depending on the project. Having everything under one roof, whether we have our own design center with our own furniture, CAD, warehousing, distribution, logistics. When you have all that in-house, it's all about setting up those expectations with the client. We also now have a client questionnaire. Before a client comes on board, we send them a client questionnaire. We tie them into a Pinterest board or Instagram board. We have a backlog now showing them what their projects are going to be. We're bringing now in-house renderings. We're going to do our own renderings in-house for our projects.
In-house. Well, that's a great asset to have. I mean, when you can show your client in a 3D version.
Real 3D.
True life. Have you started with the goggles yet, where you can just start walking around? And
I've done
it's coming. I mean, it's there. Right
I've
now.
done it. I did it 2 years ago.
Wow.
For a house in Aruba, my clients are building a very large estate there. And they said, put these goggles on. And I'm like, what the heck is this? They're the meta goggles like you're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
And I put them on. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And you're literally walking through their house. And I think we will get there over time. The more clear you can paint a picture to the clients that can't see the forest or the trees, the less issues you're going to have on the back end.
Sure, they can visualize up front, and then when it comes together, they go, I remember that.
Wow. Oh, yeah. And then, we're getting down to new, we do a lot of condo towers, clubhouses. commercial lobbies and things like that. So as our projects are evolving and technologies with it, my goal is to make sure that we're in line with that. So when you have all, back to your question, you have all that under one roof and you bolt on technology, our goal, as I keep saying, is to making sure our clients truly understand what they're going to get, not only today, but the day they move in, give us the hug and kiss goodbye and say, I'll see you at the next house. That is the best gift about having everything under one roof, because we're controlling our own destiny.
So do you have a chief technology officer that
Matt,
today,
yeah,
we're kind of there where you kind of need it when you're getting into that level of technology. Everything's changing so quickly. You mentioned Chat GPT, AI, that's tying in, and then the way you can integrate these 3D designs and walk through homes, and to stay on that edge, you almost need it.
We have a guy named Matt from KDT Solutions. We've now partnered with another guy, Ryan from Lumen, that's doing our AI. So we're kind of bringing the forces of the outside world in with our inside IT. And you need that because, you're on Zoom and Teams and Microsoft, all this stuff's moving around. Now you're both thinking, he's going to get busier. But the goal is, if we can design, develop, produce a more seamless product in less time with less issues, it's worth its weight in gold.
Sure.
Because you need ID drawings from us on every project. Everyone that doesn't know what those are the detailed drawings that basically design the floorings, the ceilings, the electrical, all the intricate details from cabinetry, countertops, plumbing pipe. If we can put that in real time in color with coding next to it, I'm going to have less calls from you. Your installer will be better. Your bids are going to be better, and the clients are going to be happier.
It's all about communication, and the tools to communicate today are going to really, really help get the point across of what you're really trying to accomplish and how you're meeting their goals. And you can also find out with the feedback, that's not for me, can we change it? So you're doing this up front rather than when you're doing your install.
It's too late.
It's hard to go backwards.
Yeah, and you nailed something. I think the fundamental part of myself and my success has always been communicating at a high level. I always try to communicate as high level as I can. Even I'm texting you on the way down, you're like, hey, this is going on. To me, I try and do that with my clients. I try and do it with my team. I try and do it with my wife a little bit more. So she understands where my life is because I'm always traveling the globe. But I think communication with clients is the key foundation. Like I just reached out to one, hey, just want to let you know I'm to your project today. Everything is going well. No need to call me back. Have a great day. He didn't call me back. And he's a busy man, but I think they love to know that I'm checking in with them instead of them checking in with me. That makes them feel that their projects are important to me. Like Bob walks all of his projects. I walk all of my projects. Whether the team's there or not, we then take pictures and videos and comments and go back to our team. So at the end of the day, not only are you getting a great team of designers and design assistant, a CAD, but you're getting Bob Martin and myself overseeing the project. So I think the mentality of my military brain, along with the foundation that he's built, because I come from a team background. Like I didn't leave on a mission without a good team. We had a mission statement, we had goals, we had objectives, and then we had a brief review when you got back. I kind of think that's kind of now come into Decorators Unlimited.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Again, it's about everyone understanding what their responsibility is, how they're going to execute, and being accountable.
The biggest part of that is accountability individually. But I've also made a point to them that, listen, if you fail, I fail, and I'm not going to fail. Failure to me is not an option in life. I said, it doesn't happen in my life unless I'm out of control of it. The more control you have, the more success you have. But also understanding that you can do anything you want, any way you want by communicating at a high level and exceeding what the client's goals. Because if you dictate what those timelines are going to be, and you come in under, you look like a rock star. You come in 1 day over or 10 days over, you're going to lose their trust.
Yeah, we don't like to have to make excuses.
No.
It's not fun.
No. So now I called my team today. I said, hey, I've got a very big project. Mr. Client reached out to me, wants to know when we're due. They gave me a date. My CAD department gave me a date. I told the client a week later just to give my team a little extra gravy because I'm going to get in and go, oh, let's review those drawings one more time. So that way, the clients, when I gave them those dates, perfect day, Jay, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. When do you think the house will be done? I go, please call your builder. I go, I'm just the design team.
Well, so that brings a good point. So you do a lot of these drawings for your clients. So how does that kind of tie in with your architect and your builder? I assume it's a compliment and it really helps them understand what they're, how the two tie together.
Yeah. So before we didn't have an in-house architect, and when architects are designing with the clients, they're looking at big picture. They're looking at the outside structure. They're looking at roof lines and window manufacturers and pavers and elevations and pools and all the pretty stuff outside. Well, as any good architect wants the house to flow from the outside to the inside to the rear of the home, when we brought an architect inside, we were having better communication with our architects. Then we were breaking houses down. There's many layers to a good house. It's not only the functioning footprint, which is the most important. It's the MEPs, the structurals, the electrical, all the stuff that you guys have to deal with as a general
And that
contractor.
coordination with your plan is critical.
Huge. So now with having George Garcia, my guru, involved, our layers are so much better between the architects and that. So when we get our layers back, I don't have a conflict where, Jay, can you meet me at a job site? I've got a beam running right through the middle of your reflective ceiling plan. So we've really, that layering to that has been such a huge benefit. Our drawings are thicker, our details are better, our job site calls are minimal. The builders are happy. The clients are getting tighter numbers from their general contractor because there's not a question on an allowance. And I think when you have that amount of intricate details in a set of drawings, it's only not only going to make your clients happy, it's going to make your builder happy. And when you have a builder that's happy and the client's happy, that's all they care about.
Absolutely. And having a really good set of ID drawings doesn't bother us. In fact, this house here that we had finished, it was the ID set alone, I believe, was about 400 pages.
As it should be for this beauty.
And every wall was detailed.
As it should be.
You know, there was very little left to guess, and it allowed us to do our job, which was to figure out how it's going to get built, how much it's going to cost, and who needs to be on the team up front. So it gives a huge head start. So that's super critical, having that kind of
It is. It really is. And what it's allowed us to do is we're doing construction administration now. Because some of our houses like this are so big. You have a detailed general contractor like yourself. You have an interior designer. You have sometimes an owner's rep involved. And then you have the architect and land. You've got a team of very smart people. So when we're getting involved, and George and I have to go to a job site, and I have a person that speaks architect, and a person like Sal speaks design and construction, we pretty much can walk to the table knowing that whatever's going to happen, we can figure out a solution together. And that's really rewarding.
Yeah, and it's all about the team. In fact, my very first episode of The Insider's Guide to Custom Homes is about the team and where do you start. And of course, it's the builder, the architect, and the interior designer. And then you start adding layers, an owner's rep if they need one, landscape architect, and you start bringing the MVPs on. Yeah. So that team has to work and function like a team.
Yeah, you have to. I always tell my clients, I go, put all the smart people in the room before you hire them. She goes, what do you need? Or I go, if you're going to hire this team right now, put us all in a room, grab your plans. I said, don't do anything. Budget 3 to 4 hours. Let's sit down and chop up your house. I said, you'll have 20 to 30 or hundreds of comments. Then go back to the drawings, fix it, and you're going to have a foolproof plan, whether it's linear diffusers, drains, architecture, elements, reflective. I go, all these smart people know because they've done it right or they've made mistakes like all of us. If we can put those on the table now, you're going to have less issues, less change orders, and a happier client.
Yeah, we started doing SOPs a few years back, and standard operating procedures. And every year we keep all the time. We're always updating and filling in. When something happens, it's always when there's a mistake or something happens.
Exactly.
So we're adding another SOP to our list, and we have hundreds of them for our superintendents and project managers. And it's not a strict roadmap, but it gives them a really good set of tracks to run on. And I think having that knowledge and the have something to fall back on. And again, when you have a team, now you have all these SOPs and knowledge from all these different partners, trade partners and designers, and that having that up front allows everyone, the architect particularly, to design within the budget, within the constraints, and within the the details that the owner is looking for in their home. And then your part is then to fold the interior design into there. Yeah. So you have the exterior and the shell, and then you have the interior and all the parts and pieces that go inside. So you have that cohesive product at the end of the day. That's a beautiful home.
Yeah, and when I look at, there's a pie I always call it, the interior designer. The client, the builder, and the architect are up here. I'm down one of these legs, and my goal is to make sure that I'm making sure that they're all happy at the same time. If you fail, I fail. If the landscaper guy needs something, I got to help pick it up. Because at the end of the day, if the client finishes the house and pays their bills and refers us, that's the best reward in the world. People are like, oh, you want to be in these award columns anymore? I said, we've done those award columns. We've done those big trophies. I said, the most rewarding thing is when a client goes, hey, I referred you to my friend or my cousin, or hey, I'm building a house out west in Wyoming. Would you do it? The answer is, thank you very much. I
just got 2 new clients from people actually moving into homes that we had previously built, and either they want to add on to it or an adjunct building. And these aren't little buildings. These are pretty major, substantial structures,
beautiful homes
that we put on these houses. And it's so gratifying. One of them actually came from a house here at Landmark, and now has moved to another house in another community in the ranches. And coincidentally, they were both built by us. And they said, hey, could you do our addition? Since I see your quality and I love what you guys do. And it says a lot. I mean, it's
really a nice pat on the back, and it's very rewarding. Like my wife's like, you always have an invitation to go to someone's house for dinner. I said, they want to show off their house and say thank you to me. It's like you work 2 or 3 or 4 years on a project, when a client invites you over for dinner and they show you off, and I go, oh, if she only knew, or he only knew what it took to get that done. And I walk out that night and it's exhausting, and we're getting home at 11 o'clock. Like, it's rewarding, man. And that's the rush I still have. I mean, 26 years in the game, I love what I do.
Sure.
It's a passion. It's not like I don't, people, my wife was like, you're never going to retire. I go, what am I going to do? Just sit at home and read design magazines?
Yeah, we have this conversation all the time, my wife and myself, and I can't retire either. I mean, I will take more vacations, see more of the world. I think that's beneficial, and I bring back some great ideas every time I do. I feel energized, but the idea of sitting home watching TV, playing golf, it's not. I mean, once every 2 or 3 months, I'll grab a golf club. Yeah,
I play golf. I'm part of a charity. I have to play golf once a year, and one of my builders makes me play in his charity.
I just did this Monday. So
I did it Monday too. For me, it's pain and suffering. We're very fortunate to work with a lot of the PGA Tour guy people. It's an amazing mind sport. It's not for me. I don't have the patience for it. I've got to be moving and touching and designing. Like, I want to be in the mix of my projects, my team. And it's just not for me, but God bless them for doing it.
Absolutely. So one thing I find fascinating is how vertically integrated the Decorators Unlimited is. You know, your warehousing, your delivering, your deliveries, your installations, all handled internally. So do you also self-perform? I know you do the closets. Do you do other stuff, other millwork, furniture fabrication? What's the extent of, or what would your goals be if you're in your perfect world?
In my perfect world, if we could expand, I mean, we've got so much under one roof. In-house purchasing now, delivery, logistics, warehousing. We have our own beautiful showroom, closets. I don't know if there's much. We had to get another warehouse because we have so much furniture now for our commercial projects. I don't know if there's anything else I'd want to add. You know, we outsource a lot of millwork. That's a very, as you know, very challenging industry.
Sure. And more so today than it was 10 years ago. I mean, our homes, our packages, we're just talking, so $1 million millwork package on, a house that's probably $10 million in construction. That's 10% of the overall budget.
It's a lot. You know, we've had great relationships with many millworking companies. I don't think we'll venture into that. I think it's another big shoe to bite off. Kitchens and baths,
and especially of millwork today. I mean, we have the house that we finished here in Hancock was amazing millwork package, but the guy who did it, he's been doing it for 40, 50 years. He has a factory in Spain. He goes over there 2-3 times a month. He sits down with them. They build everything to the millimeter.
That's the best.
It is magnificent.
That's old school.
12-foot mahogany doors or whatever you want. Mahogany, you want walnut, but they're to the millimeter. They have 5 hinges on each door that have 6 adjustments on every hinge.
Love it.
And a 12-foot ceiling with a 12-foot door, you have a clearance of maybe a millimeter and a half. You have to have perfection.
Yeah.
And to have someone that execute like that, it's a skill, and it's not something you do overnight.
No, and most of them are great fabricators, but challenged businessmen or women. So I've learned to kind of leave that part to them. You know, I started in the kitchen and bath world for many years. I still love being part of that process with our team. I just don't see us adding anymore. I think my goal is to keep refining and getting better at what we have, because we have so much under one roof and we're so diversified. When I first joined Bob in 2008, we were just a single family, custom multifamily firm. We're so diversified now. And
so you're doing commercial work as well?
We're doing some commercial, a lot of hotel brands, a lot of condo towers, a lot of clubhouses. We're getting asked to do a lot of different things, and you have to be really good at them. You don't want to take something on. Like, we got to do restaurants.
Different than doing a single family home.
That's all commercial. Yeah. Like, people want to do a restaurant, I'm like, no, thank you. Like, we could do it. We'd probably figure it out and be good at it. But I don't want to be the first one to the first one. I want to make sure we've got something fluid and patent and down and be good at it. So I think we'll just redefine who we are every year, grind it out, make the system better. Our warehouse is getting better. Our teams are getting better. Our designers are getting better. So I don't know how much more we can bite off.
You have 3,000 projects under your belt. You have 100 active clients.
Yeah.
So what are some of your challenges? What happens behind the scenes to make all this kind of work together and the workflow run smoothly?
I think for Bob and I, what I said is being able to analyze a project or a situation before it becomes a problem. So for me, it's I keep myself contacted on the team emails, so I know what's going on. I think every day it's a little bit of what's going on. How do you delegate it? How do you fix it? How do you get in front of it? My big thing is always be in front of the problem, not behind it, because that's when things have issues. So you always have to make sure that I'm one of the first people in the office. I'm an early riser. I'm at the office. I stopped by the office today at 5:45.
So you get to the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I went to the gym. I went and worked out with a builder at 6:15. So I went to the office first, got in front of my team, got my emails out. So my biggest thing is, basically trying to dedicate and dictate and delegate out to my team before they get to their desk.
Right. So they have their plan.
They have a plan of attack. And most of them, some of them, like I have great designers that work nights. And Bob works late at night. So I cover the morning shift. Bob covers the night shift. We got a whole day covered between the two of us. But if you can dedicate and delegate out to your team first thing in the morning, by the time they get in at 9 o'clock, I'm 3 hours in front of them. I'm already on to my noon mission of like, okay, what job sites do I want to see? What projects do I want to review? Right now, I've got a new system in place with a Dell monitor. So all my plans come in. I can write right on the TV screen. I can now flip out plans before I had to print them, scale them.
Yeah, get back to technology. How it can help us be more efficient.
I'm a huge technology nerd. I've fallen into it because I wanted to be faster at getting plans out. Instead of like 3 days to get plans back to architect, I'm getting them back in a day. I'm drawing on a screen in real scale and I'm emailing them out. And it's like, whoa, how do I now? The next thing is, how do I voice dictate that? That'd be great. It's going to come.
It's on the way.
It's on its way. So to me, that's how you really can control that understanding of your operation and being behind the scenes is being in front of the team, but also being there for them. Like I am a hands-on team leader. I'm a hands-on partner. I am not a person that is afraid to unload a truck. I'm not a person that's unafraid to walk a job site and get messy and dirty. I mean, you saw me walk in. I came in a pair of Lululemons and tennis shoes. I was walking the job with Bob today. We have a big project we're doing. We're on it together. And I went and walked the job sites. And I went and walked another one after that. So to me, if I can lead by example, whatever I do, my team can do equally as good, if not probably better, because they have more time.
Obviously know how to delegate. So
delegation is part of it, but it's also like I have a team member right now that's got a family situation going on, and we have another designer on. I said, "Hey, I'm stepping in. What do you need? How do you need to get it done? You want me to go to hold of the vendors? You want me like I
just step in.
You have to.
Sure.
You know how it is. Your son calls you, goes, "Hey, Dad, we got to sit." Son, I'll be there in 20 minutes. What do you need?
I've done it many times.
Yeah.
But, I don't mind. I mean,
I like it.
But it becomes a learning, opportunity, I think, as well for the people that, help. Okay, let's figure out what happened.
Well, Bob was at a part of the meeting today, and I didn't have a solution to this. I said, hey, can you step into this bathroom? We got a tile situation, this and that. And he had it like that. And I was like, son of a bitch. Why didn't I know that? I didn't look at it that way. I go,
I got the extra 10 years of experience, and there you go.
He's got me by 15 years, but it's like, I didn't invert it. I didn't turn it upside down. And then I went and put a note in my phone because I keep a business journal still and a design journal. For 20 years now. So I put it in the journal and I'm like, I'm not going to forget that one. And I'm not going to, he told me in one walkthrough, he told me 2 things. And I was like, I need to spend more time with him. So one day you don't know what the future holds. And I'm like, I learned more things with him than I'll ever learn from anyone else. And I appreciate that. So to us, having that understanding and how to do it and how to delegate it and dedicate it out and be diligent about all that is really, really important. And when your team sees you that you're part of it, they get energized. They understand that we're all in this together. And that's important to me because I don't want them to ever have that fear factor that, no matter what happens, like when there's a problem,
they'll come to you.
I want them to come to me. But the rule is, don't come with me the problem.
Come with an answer.
Of course. Come with a solution. There's always 2. Bring me the one that makes the client, the firm happy, and less money problems for both of us. So we keep getting better. Every day, sometimes you go forward, sometimes you go backwards, but we're still striving. You guys would not be around 40 or 43 years if you didn't have the goals or the passion or the dedication to making yourselves the best.
Correct. And we feel the same way. And look, there's no such thing as a perfect build. And there's always issues. And the key is to know how to figure them out, how to tackle them, how to put your team together and come up with solutions. Obviously, that's pretty much nailed down. So
I wouldn't say nailed down. We're getting better at it.
Okay. It's never going to be perfect.
No, but that's what I keep pitching them. Designers, including myself, I'm very OCD, anal retentive regimented. I'm regimented to the worst degree. My wife and my therapist go, Jay, it's okay. You're an interior designer. You're not in surgery. You're not in a boat. You're not being a rescue swimmer. You're an interior designer. And I go, yeah, but. And I go, no buts. So, you try to get to that perfective. You get the 90, 95, 98. And the things that we see and you see, their clients never see. And that's the good thing is that we're able to design and develop and furnish beautiful homes all over the world. And I think we do a really good job exceeding what they expect us to have done at the end of the day.
So you mentioned all over the world a few times. So where else do you work? What's the extent of our
travels
reach?
now? Oh, it's getting big. I mean, Bob was working in Russia before the day. Caracas, Venezuela. We've done work in St. John's. We've done over 40 projects in the Caymans, the Bahamas. We're working on a very large house in Aruba, Yellowstone.
So the islands is really big for you guys.
Well, it's in our backyard. It's like going to the Keys for us. It's actually easier.
Well, I've been asked to build in the islands before, and I've seen how they built in the islands.
Well,
I'm like, I don't know.
I didn't say it was great construction. I said we designed. It's always a bigger challenge working across the pond on those projects. They don't understand the element of design, development in detail, where people like you and I live and breathe it. So sometimes you have to go 3 times forward and go 3 times back to go. It's a longer process, way more money, and a lot longer. But we've really enjoyed that because I think it's a challenge to us. What I've learned overseas now is I bring in my own vendors. I'm like, listen, here's the builder. I said, listen, here's the vendors. Let me help make your life easier. We'll design it, put it on the ID drawings. You meet with my vendors and suppliers, you order it, they ship it, they'll come down and either manage it or install it. I said, we have no skin in the game.
They must appreciate that because it makes it so much easier. Trying to find vendors.
Oh, it's a nightmare. And I said, listen, our firm is a no kickback firm. We want nothing. I just want a happy client. I said, but these are the people I've worked with for a long time that can get the manpower, get the job done, get it to the island and install it. That is really hard. I mean, we've worked on projects overseas that are 50, 60, $40 million homes. I mean, here that's normal sometimes, but over there it's like a rare duck. It's like the one golden goose. Oh, they're sitting there floating, and we've done really good at that. But I learned the hard way when I'm working with their vendors and suppliers. I'm like, can you do this? They're like, no, we've never done that. And I'm like, I'm a good teacher, but I'm not a contractor. I know enough to be dangerous. I'm pretty good at construction, but I'm not at the skill level of you or will ever be there. So when you can help educate them with other qualified vendors and suppliers, you're just adding another layer to the team. And I think now I'm realizing when I go to my vendors, I go, oh, I'm busy this week. I go, where you go? We're in the Caymans. I go, oh, you're working on another project that I got.
Started, but that's okay.
It's better to share. Like I said earlier, it's better to give than receive. And it's good. And we've got some really neat upcoming projects that I think we'll be able to photograph for our clients. I wish, one of the big things I always wish we could photograph more of our work. Some of our clients, as I'm sure with you, are very private individuals. We work for some very influential people. So sometimes I get a little teary-eyed when it's like, well, I worked on that project for 3 years and I can't take photographs of it. So,
well, speaking of photographs, I mean, you guys are in Florida Design, Lugs, Equestrian Lifestyle, and probably 5 other magazines I haven't mentioned. So what's the DNA of Decorators Unlimited that gets you there?
When Bob started dealing with more of the commercial projects, I started falling into equestrian. And I work with a really prominent architect, Annie Carruthers, Insight Design.
Annie,
Annie, she's down here.
Sure.
You've worked with Annie.
She's super prolific right now.
She's a queen floating on air. She's that good now as an architect. She's like really talented. And I think when you work with talented people and you start putting out really good detailed work and people hear about it, they want to be published. And we work with really prominent photographers now that understand the element of how important it is from an architectural photography, interior design, the builder's photographs. And then we'll ship them out a few magazines, whether it's Equestrian, whether it's Lux or whatever. And sometimes they get picked up. But to us, that's really more important than doing those words again. I'd like to show off really a great team project. And anytime you see our work on Facebook or Instagram, or we have our own marketing person, I always make sure to tag everyone because it's not one person that makes these projects good. It's the entire team. And it takes all of us to get them done. So it's really been social media, as you know, and I know, has really been a big part of our big push. I handle all of our social media I should say I handle. I have Kristen Grace.
It's kind of technology though. You're always trying to keep up. What's the latest thing? Do I need to be on TikTok? I don't know. I mean, I didn't realize X had a podcast.
Yes.
What is this?
And I don't know if you do, but we've seen a massive switch probably 10 years ago where publications aren't really that influential in our industry when it comes to business coming back to you.
But people still seem to pick up at least like Florida Design.
Oh, of course.
Common Imagines. When you're on a plane or something, it's nice to physically leaf through some of these pictures and really kind of get some. Take a picture of the picture. It's not everything is online.
No, but what you're seeing now is Florida Design and Lux, and they have a huge presence online, massive presence. So we're like, oh, so they're taking publications and social. So we're bolting onto them, sharing the information of our team. It's getting out there to a wider audience, and that's why we're picking up projects in Wyoming and Colorado and California. And it's good. It's challenging. I got a call from a client today on an interesting project across the pond, and he goes, "Are you interested?" I go, "Yeah." Because I didn't even tell you where it's at yet. I go, you said it's not in Florida. I was like, I know the architect. I know he's not going to take on a bad project.
As long as it's not Greenland. Yeah.
No. I mean, we're very blessed to work with the Mitch Kunigs and the Annie Carruthers and the Randy Stoffs and the Stu Brenners of the world. I mean, these guys are all rock stars and rock women, But now you get these international architects that are finding us on social media. We're like, and you see their work and you're like, oh my God, that's breathtaking.
We're actually doing a house with Sayota right now.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah. One of the most talented teams out there. Amazing. You look at that work and you're like, I don't care where the project is. I'm going to go. Like, I'll figure it out. We've been offered to go to Colombia and all this stuff. I asked my military mind is like, I'm not scared of the mission, but I'm more passionate about the process of getting it done and completed. I'll find a way to design there. I'll find a way to get my team there. I'll find a way to get the product there. So to me, it's a challenge. And I think maybe that's the push. Building and designing are very similar no matter where you do it, as long as you have the right team.
Right, of course. And I think it's important that the team works not only as a cohesive unit, but listening and understanding a client's needs and tailoring the homes to them and individual personalities. How do you take, your design philosophy and your style, and how do you kind of tailor that to the individual? And everybody thinks differently. Everybody's got, you start seeing some of these Instagram or their Pinterest things, and you're looking at it going, that picture and that picture, they're not congruous. How do you kind of blend?
I start off the discussion with them in my office. I just did it yesterday. I said, what are your expectations, first of all, of the house? What style do you want? What colors do you like? What colors don't you like? How do you want your house to function first? How do you want it to look pretty? I said, do you have any images? So I start trying to extract information out of it. And I keep it all logged. And then we ask for images and the client questionnaire. And then I don't even in my new office, but in my office, it's all fabric board. So we start pinning things up, all their stuff, onto a board. And it really allows us to start seeing more standards of what they like, and then an outlier of what they maybe like, and then an outlier of what they definitely don't like. So to us, it's really trying to get as much information. And then what we're also doing now, some clients go, I don't know what I like, which is common. I'm sure you've been there many times.
Yeah. Now it's your job to take out your Instagram boards and your Pinterest boards and whatever else you're having. Do you like this?
That's what we're doing now. You nailed it. So what we'll do is we'll do a collage. You'll say, I said, do you like transitional, traditional, or contemporary? I like these two. And we'll do 50 to 60 images of each. We'll email it to them, give them 2 or 3 days to digest, hop on a Zoom, and we'll go through every image with them and say, I like this. And I have a design assistant there circling the pictures. So now with technology and Instagram and Facebook and all these, whatever you want to call them, websites for interior design, it's really allowed us to use that information to target their vision. Once you get that and you put the collage together and you send it back to them, and then you ask the question, is there anything in there you don't like? Usually they still say a few things, which is good. You send it back one more time, I'm good. So then that's our prototype. We have to design it, we have to build it, we have to bring it to life, and that's our goal. Because now, I used to give clients $50, $100 magazines. I haven't given a client a magazine in I don't know how long. So now I just like, here's the websites, here's what you need to do.
There's just so much noise out there. And it's hard to keep tabs on trends and what's really, how is my house going to look 15 years or 10 years from now? Am I going to be dated in 5 years?
That brings up a really good point. One of the things I think that makes our firm really stand out, and that's probably where I've been around, is I think of the word timeless. I want a timeless design. You can do timeless in any genre of design. You can do timeless in any color of design, but how do you make it timeless from the day you move in to your point about 10 years from now? That starts off with great architecture, great interior design, great forward thinking, great furniture. And that's what we try to do, is give someone or couples or anyone that they may be an entity of, whether it's a developer even, a timeless product. When you design in timeless, I have people that have now sold one of our homes 5 times. And I drive by and go, wow, that's pretty. It's been like 15 years. And I'm like, I'd still move into that today. That's
rewarding.
That's timeless. And I think that's what makes us really focus on that goal. Because if you give them a timeless palette, materials and finishes, it's never going to go out of style.
That's great. Because the timeless aspect is important. But when it comes to trends, how do you define the materials, space planning, the lifestyles? How do you shape it for the next generation of custom homes?
Well, I think with our team, we go to market multiple times a year. I go to Italy every 2 years. Our team travels a lot. We're always going to different material shows, whether it's the commercial show, the residential show. You have to live and die in your industry to know what's hot today and what's coming on for tomorrow. If you're not passionate about what you do as a designer and do the education outside of the office, you'll never know. And I think our team really dwells on that. I think we have 9 people at market this week. Actually, they left today.
When you say at market,
that's furniture market up north.
Oh, is this in North Carolina?
Yeah, up in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
So, and then we have designers that go to New York for the D&D shows, and then I'm going to Italy in April again. So, and then we come back and
you're always keeping up with the trends.
We're trying.
Styles.
We're trying, and I do my wife hates this, but I'm unfortunately an Instagram junkie because I can sit there and look at projects all over the globe. And I'm not going to like everybody. I'll do a folder for this and I'll do a folder for that and a folder. And then I'll have a client go, oh, how about this? And I go, have you ever seen this yet? She goes, no. I go, let's try this. So I like to be innovative in the point that trying to be in front of the turn instead of behind the turn and showing them information or products or materials that my designers can pull together and make it amazing. At the end of the day, I'm a small piece of the puzzle. I have to give a lot of praise and a lot of credit to all of our amazing designers and all of our staff, because the designers do an amazing job designing. They spend the most amount of time with the clients. They deserve a lot of this credit that we get, if not all of it. And Bob and I understand that it's not just us bringing the projects in the door and working on the architecture and handing it over to them. They've got a tough task. And that task is not only to design it, but make sure it's in style, like you say, not today, not tomorrow, but hopefully forever. And the ones that really study their project, I can look at our jobs and know which designer designed it. And that's pretty empowering. That's pretty cool. So kudos to them.
That's great. So, Jay, this has been a really fantastic interview. The conversation's been fantastic.
I can keep going.
You could. I really admire your level of professionalism and your creativity, and
I love it.
And how your team brings every project to life, and that's fantastic. So, for our listeners who want to learn a little bit more about Decorators Unlimited and explore your portfolio, where's the best place to find it online?
We're all over the internet, but decoratorsunlimited.com, schematicdesign.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media platforms. Kristen Grace is my marketing manager. You'll see a lot of our projects, but we've got a great brand out there. We'll never be a perfect company. We're going to give you great designs. You're going to love it. You're going to have fun, and we're passionate about it, but you can definitely find us.
Wow, that's great. Any exciting projects and the ventures on the horizon that you want to share before we wrap up?
I want to talk about my house in Aruba.
Yeah.
It's very great. You know, you ever get one of those clients that you just really love? Sure. Like you just get a client that you have.
Most of them I really love.
I wish I had that as many.
Well, once in a while you do find the exception.
I have the exception.
Really it knows every detail, and they speak the same language.
And I'm blessed to met this client. There's only 11 houses in Aruba. I don't know if many people know that.
Wow. 11.
They're the only American ever to buy a house in Aruba. They got in the back door and got it. It's one of the largest, if not the largest house ever to be built there. We've partnered with great Brandon architects out of California, very prominent architect, really amazing designs. We're actually working with Brandon directly himself. And the house is special. It's unique. Where all of our local vendors are involved. It's spectacular. Where the builder's a little challenged, we'll say, like all some other projects have.
You only have 11 houses.
Yeah, it's hard to. So I brought in
find that many builders.
I brought in an owner's rep that's making his life easier. He's really learned a lot. He's really getting up path. I think when this is done at the end of this year, or the end of next year, it'll be one of the prettiest houses I've ever done on an island. And not just from an architecture, but the interiors. They're really giving us an open canvas to kind of paint a picture. They brought us up to their house in New Jersey. They showed us what they like. We kind of got the feel for them. We've been married to them for 2 years now during the architectural design. This house to me is going to be special because I have a great team on it, but a client really loves the process. They're heavily involved and they really want to do it right. When I mean right, I mean right. And that to me is really important.
That's really fascinating. I mean, I've never worked in the islands. Again, as a contractor, it's a little challenging.
Very.
But I can appreciate your perspective and have that, that excitement and that ability to actually, to do that kind of work is fantastic. Yeah. So thanks again for being on our Insider's Guide to Custom Homes, Jason, and the incredible work that you're doing and your firm continue to do, shaping the world of luxury design.
I really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and hopefully we'll be working on some more homes together soon.
Well, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And leave a quick review to help us reach more listeners who want to understand what really goes into building a custom home. I'm Rick Bell, and this has been the Insider's Guide to Custom Homes. Thank you for listening, and remember, let's build your masterpiece the landmark way. Stay inspired and enjoy the journey.